online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
My phone's dead to me now.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Reign After Show. And guess what? I made the proclamation last episode that I will not care anymore about who comes, when they come, and guess what? Since that proclamation, we have the whole panel. We have Keetin Marchi. We have Jamie Zimmerman.
What up?
And new fan favorite, and no longer a guest star of Reign, the After Show.
No,
she now has a principal role. Alina Vission.
Yo, Alina's been holding it down.
She has.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it and our set. And now I have to tell you, we have the Royal Bros back. Like these guys, they're Team Royal Bros. Even though we've since lost a Royal Bro, we still have the AFTERBUZZ Royal
It's
Bros.
not too little, too late, because we're back. So
That's right.
There's at least two of us. I know Francis. He can get resurrected again.
What do you think Charles and Bash could?
There's other
Charles
bros.
is getting
There's
banned.
other bros that can get promoted.
Yeah.
I'm saying. I mean, he's gonna grow. He had an awesome episode this season, or this episode. He's really grown throughout the season, I think.
Absolutely.
I mean, even though he can't yet take the throne,
He's grown from 6 to 17 in a matter of 1 year.
Yeah,
like a flash, man.
His voice
before
is
your
like
eyes.
everything.
The
Seriously.
voice is
He's grown
dropping.
taller.
Yeah, the balls drop, everything.
I wasn't gonna say it, but I understand why you
Totally.
did.
I mean, he's drinking wine with the chicks and
Almost gets him
they're
killed.
almost dying. He's really coming into his own.
Well, we've got lots to talk about. We're having lots of fun. If you only knew the behind-the-scenes commentary that happened beforehand, we will not. No, please
Nope,
no.
this is this show is rated PG.
That's right. We have some parents who listen to us in their car with their kids. So
Keep it
thank
classy.
you for that.
Keep it classy.
Yeah.
But we can call it sort of a winter finale because we don't come back until the spring. So
We don't even have a date.
spring.
But I'm just saying,
Spring.
I understand. We have a season. We don't have a date.
Spring 2016.
Okay, well.
That's probably going to be March, April.
When they send out the save the dates, I'll let you guys know.
I did not know that. That's very sad for me.
It
It was
isn't-
going to be so long. I thought we had more.
Here's the good news is we'll blink, and the reason why that is, if you guys didn't know and you guys kind of care about this stuff, Legends of DC comes on Thursday nights. Obviously Thursday nights used to be held down by Vampire Diaries and Originals, and before Originals was on Tuesday. CW's got this all crazy. So to make room for Legends of DC, and I believe the 100, they've moved Vampire Diaries and Originals to Friday night, which is the time slot for Reign. So Reign's going to go on a bit of a hiatus.
Oh, wow.
And
There you have it,
Okay.
folks.
That's the recap.
That's the cliff notes.
Thanks, CW.
Of the whole CW rearrangement.
Don't worry, we're doing all of these shows here at AfterBuzz TV, but today specifically Reign. So
Fair enough.
let's just start with overall reactions to this episode, as knowing that it is kind of a finale until the spring.
I don't know if you can see my shirt, but it says "killing it" because literally Catherine and Mary killing it at this episode. I mean, by the end of this episode, I was very worried for them for the majority of the episode. But I love to see them working together. I'm very happy with all kind of these somewhat cliffhangers we got. I'm not upset by it. Why are you clicking? Oh.
I can't watch myself next to you.
I was like, don't touch my
distracting.
computer. It's like, you can't touch my radio. Don't touch my computer. Anyways, I really like this episode. I think all the episodes that we've had in 2016 have been really, really strong. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
I liked this episode. I liked now that we're seeing Lola in England with Elizabeth. I like that. I like the fact that girls were killing it. Like, seriously, Mary and Catherine working together. And I liked seeing more Charles.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like seeing Claude for once, like just cracking that dude in the face.
Yes, Claude is killing it. Everybody's killing it. I'm a theme person.
Absolutely. So,
except minus Elizabeth for once.
Well, there's a lot to talk about with Elizabeth.
Well,
she did kill it in some ways.
In some ways, in a manner of speaking.
Yeah.
Let's start with Claude, because that's a big one. You know, here she is. She was promised that she wouldn't have to get married, and now she goes to Charles, who specifically says, "No, I'm going to have to marry you off," and there she is in this marriage.
Yeah, I mean,
But the cool thing is then we find out that Catherine orchestrated everything about it anyway. She was like 10 steps ahead of Narcisse, which was kind of hilarious. Or, I don't think they were quite clear on whether she took control of that situation before or after Narcisse kind of thought he had control of it. What do you guys think?
Right. I mean, do you think, I'm kind of torn, because it's in a lot of ways classic Catherine, like behind the scenes, masterminding everything. But in a lot of ways, it's also old Catherine, like, playing too rough with the kids. Like, that could have gone way more aggressively, and, her daughter could have been killed or something.
Well, to Keaton's point, I think Catherine orchestrated this because it was always her money. Right? And that was gonna so she had to be the one, because she knew that Narcisse was going to marry her off to somebody who could pay the debts, and so why not be the person to pay off those debts? And I thought he was a little bit too rough with her, but it was a great kind of just. Obviously, we didn't know the information about Catherine. It was a great woman's kind of episode of like, yeah, you got him. I really felt for you guys.
Usually in
Girl power.
like I've seen
right.
I've seen so many TV shows where a scene that starts off like that ends terribly for the woman, and like by the end of it, you're like, why does it always have to be this damsel in distress? Why does the woman always have to succumb to the man, whatever? So the fact that it ended with Claude not only getting knocked down as hard as she did, but standing up and just 1, 2, jab down, I was so happy for the writers that they did that, and I thought it was great. And I used to hate Claude, and I hated her and Leith together, but now I'm rooting for them, and I love Claude. And I somebody in the chat said too, why do I like Claude now? And I'm like, I don't know, I like her too.
Amazing.
I love Claude. I do. I love her. I love how she's so dramatic too. Like right after she knocked him out, she throws the ring. I'm a princess. Just such a Claude line to say. It was perfect, right? Yeah.
Well, I think her character also has really grown up a lot. Being at court, she was kind of, before in previous seasons when she would be peppered in throughout the season, it was always the annoying Claude, just the crybaby, let me do bad stuff to get attention. And now that she's got her own in court, she actually has a place there, it's a little bit different. She is her own person. Well, and especially without Catherine there, I think she's starting to realize she doesn't need attention for attention's sake, and she can.
Yeah, no, and I think Leith has really helped with her. Not to be the only reason Claude is so secure in herself is because of a guy, but I think his friendship with her has definitely helped her build a lot of confidence. Where she did used to feel like this unwanted, just basically cattle. Nobody really cared about her. She didn't really have her own place, and now Leith is making her feel like she can be whoever she want to be, and to take control of that, and to ask for the things that she knows she deserves, such as being able to marry for love, and not just being treated like just cattle.
Right.
Yeah, and I also like the part where Leith says, you know what, then I'm not gonna kind of just have this, we're gonna get married. But rather than just say we're going to get married now, which is selfish, he says, I don't know how, but I'm going to really rise. And you believe it from Leith. He's already gotten to this point.
He's come a long way in a couple years.
Yeah, so there's that aspect of it too. And then in terms of Claude pushing Charles, it's great to see, because this is the second time, at least that I can specifically remember when the girl was poisoned. Right, and Claude comes to the help, and she brings in Narcisse, and she's smart in that way, and that was a turning point for her, but also for Charles. And they shared that moment. Now they share this moment, and they're really learning that to be rulers of France, there's definitely consequences on how to deal with that.
Right.
So I like that aspect.
Yeah. Well, she's really had her own personality now, and I think that's why it's easier to root for her and Leith, because it's evident that they actually like each other, for who each other is, and not just because he's forced to, or he doesn't have any other options.
But-
it's like a good match.
Now I'm really wondering because, like, obviously it was such, like, a big, like, all of kind of Nostradamus is what all of his kind of predictions at the beginning of season 1, all of those have kind of come true in some way, and Lath was such a big prediction. That was such kind of like this thing that they played with him and Greer with so much, and why Lath worked so hard to gain status and stuff. And so I'm wondering if they're just going to try to pretend that never happened, or they never like said that those two were meant to be together, or if they're going to somehow bring them back together in some way, whether it's Claude dying, whether I don't know how they would do it, but like
That assumes this, though. It assumes the fact that you're supposed to be with your true love, right? Or that you can be with your
Good
true
point,
love.
Phil.
Yeah.
No, it is because you know that
way
like
to destroy all of romance, Phil. God.
you know, fine, whatever.
Phil, I'm gonna Team Royal Bros here. No, I completely agree, because it's obviously I want to believe in the fairy tale of like we all end up with our true love. But even with true loves, I feel like it's a timing thing. Like
Right.
it's so there's so many things that go into it beyond I'm in love with you, you know, and to see how that works and like how you do fall in love with someone, but it can't be for so many other reasons. You know, it's not right for that time, and they can find like more than one true love.
But I remember like the prediction was that's who she was going to end up with in the end. So it wasn't
Well, yeah,
maybe the love, whatever,
again,
that's who she was going to end up. I don't know for sure. Maybe somebody in the chat can remember.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it's more about the timing. Like maybe now it is their destiny to go
No, but him and
apart.
Claude have such
They could be
good chemistry.
sister
Yeah,
wives.
I want him
I
and
know.
Claude. I want him
I don't
and
want to
Claude.
be rooting for them, but I'm
Right.
like, Greer, your wig is bad. Your
You
wig
took it
is
there, girl.
bad. And like, girl, you're pregnant with a pirate's baby.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like,
got
look
some
at your
pirate
life. Look
booty
at your
for
choices.
himself.
Yeah, literally.
So let's talk about Greer. Let's talk about
Oh
Greer.
my
Yes.
gosh.
So you guys are Team Lath, it sounds like.
I'm
Now
Team
I
Lath.
am.
Yeah.
I mean, Greer's done her own thing, but like I don't really like where they took her character in a cool place and then they kind of like killed it.
Dropped it there,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of sitting. Yeah, I like Lath and her apart now, because I just think she did too much damage to him. You know,
Yeah.
like I get that they were in love and all of that, but Greer being pregnant now with the pirate, that'll be interesting to see. Because he wants her to keep the kid. And he's like, I can come, you know, once or twice a month to see the kid. Like, what? Or once or twice a year, did he say, I think?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
said
he
once
was-
or
he's
Like,
twice a
that's not being a
travel, like,
father.
10 months a year.
twice a year?
That is not being a father.
Whoa,
Yeah.
buddy, absolutely.
That is being more than a father than most people sometimes, okay?
This is true.
Lord.
But still not a father. Yeah, I just think, I don't know what Greer's going to do about that whole situation. I mean, she wants to give the kid
Well,
up.
I think it's set in terms of what
Right.
she's gonna do. I think they
Right.
laid that out pretty clearly with the woman, and she says, "You're not moving to Scotland. You're staying right here, and I'm gonna, if you can't teach this kid values, I will."
Right.
I mean, that seems pretty clear cut.
Yeah, then that's her younger sister, correct?
I think
I
They're
would be
related,
interested
I
to
think.
see her family come more into, because obviously we're going to be going to Scotland soon. Mary does not stay in French
Season
court
finale.
for forever.
Season
Yeah.
finale.
So I almost thought it was happening this episode
too.
because Narcisse banished her at one point. I was like, oh crap, Narcisse dropping the mic.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm wondering how that's going to affect like all of her ladies in waiting, as well as going back to all of their families and seeing what that is like in life in Scotland. I'm very excited for
Here's
that.
the thing: who are her ladies at this point? I mean, Greer's
doesn't-
doing her own
yeah.
thing. Lola's elsewhere. Kenna,
Not there.
where you been?
Thank you, Phil. Thank you for saying that.
She's in the woods
Jesus.
somewhere.
Kenna, I am
Yeah.
searching the halls of the castle for you as we speak.
Yeah.
Oh my!
So she really
Man.
doesn't have any ladies, and
She has Catherine.
yeah.
Isn't that funny? Like
Yeah.
that's who she
How
has.
Yeah.
far have we
That's your
come?
bestie
Jesus.
now. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But I don't know if she'd approve of what Catherine ultimately did. But we digress.
I
from
agree
Greer.
with that. But I mean, but Mary laid down the law with Catherine this episode. Like it's so cool to see them as equals now, and they respect each other as equals. Like Catherine was like, oh crap. Like even though Catherine still did what she wants, I think like Mary kind of a little bit put the fear of God in her a little bit. And
Right.
she would if it would have gone south for Catherine, I don't think she would have brought Mary down with her.
Well, it's interesting to see that their motivations are finally like 100% aligned. Like
Right.
they are just now politically in the best interest for the nation and France and everything. I mean, now that there's no real relationship issues, there's no like I'm trying to date your son and his cousin problems that we've had in the past that have really gotten, the conflict between them. They're both very smart women. We've seen that time and time again. And now that they can both be like mutual respective of each other, I think it's cool that, they can team up and communicate in a way that Frances and Mary like never really did, because there's always like a problem between them.
I think it was Frances. But like, I just want to discuss like how much Catherine had to think about this scenario to get herself into Regency, because this is basically like Catherine had to, first of all, figure out a man who had a lot of money that she could get somebody to go into Narcisse's ear to suggest that that's who he should try to marry Claude off to, but then have this guy in her pocket so that she would get the money no matter what, or like, find a way to make her son Charles not trust Narcisse, so then tell this guy basically hit my daughter. And so then, like, it does give Charles a reason not to trust Narcisse, because Narcisse is going to tell him that obviously you're a good dude. Like, there are so many things Catherine had to go through to make this happen. And I'm so bummed that kind of just, like, they didn't... I wanted a little bit of flashbacks to see her kind of do all of this, because I just love her when she's negotiating and stuff. But even seeing that scene where she goes to give the gold back and seeing that these two people are both, like, one on top of another with the archers and then more archers and whatever... Ugh, I love that woman. I'm gonna be so sad when she's gone. I'm gonna be devastated when Mary leaves for Scotland. I'm gonna be devastated Catherine's gone.
Yeah. So do you think that Catherine knew from the beginning, or do you think she just went to this guy after Narcisse told Claude and her that that's who he was going to marry?
I think she knew from the beginning. I think this has been a long game that Catherine's been playing to try to get the Regency.
Interesting.
I agree.
I mean, it's pretty complex to set that up.
it
So,
is.
like, she would have to have been planting seeds, like,
For a while.
Emperor
yeah.
Palpatine status.
Yeah, I mean, you know that Narcisse is going to try to marry her off.
Right.
Yeah.
Point blank. And so it's just that, so it's simple from there of, well, let me control the guy that she does ultimately end up marrying. So at least that concept in and of itself is simple.
Right.
But this is the thing about Catherine that, like, I wish she kind of would instill in Claude a little bit more. Catherine knew, I mean, a lot of people in the chat are talking about, like, women's roles back then. Catherine knew what everybody expected her role to be as a female in that time. But then she used that role to her advantage and to help her children. And, like, that's what she's always doing, is using her role in the best way to help herself and her children. And I wish she would instill that in Claude a little bit, because I think Claude is smart, but Claude is just still feels so rejected by Catherine that Claude instead lashes out to her instead of trusting Catherine, which is just kind of a shame, because now I really like Claude.
Okay, but here's the thing. There's no way for Catherine to be like, okay, listen.
Yeah.
Here's what we orchestrated here.
Yeah, just Claude, take notes.
It's just no
I'm
way.
just saying,
Right.
I know, but I just wish they had a better I don't know. It's just I think it would be a more
But you
want her to
interesting
take her under her
relationship.
wing
Yes,
and-
that's what
and
I want
make
to
a little
see.
mini
But now
Catherine.
she's kind of made. I almost want to see Claude and Mary now kind of or Claude get jealous of Mary, because now Mary and Catherine are so close, and she's kind of taken the daughter role of Catherine. And I want to see Claude notice that and maybe get a little jealous, and maybe that starts putting rifts in between her and Catherine again. Is just Claude's jealousy. I think that'd be interesting.
I don't think at this point they're that far off. I mean, the fact that Claude did what she did in the trials of Catherine, I think is indicative of that. She was very upset that the diary got found and everything there. So I don't think it may not be the best, but
Meh. Can we talk about Gideon? Gideon and all that drama and, like, the new love potential for Mary.
is he the new love?
I don't like him, guys. I don't think they have any chemistry. I think they're fun. Like, they seem like buddies, but, like, meh.
Here's what I will say, and then you guys can fight it after that, because after that, I have no further opinion. He loves her. For my money's worth, she cannot love him. Otherwise, what she had with Frances meant jack crap. And if that is the case, then Mary, I hate you. Now fight.
Wow.
I agree with that. I mean, we've gone back and forth so many times with, you know, when Conde was in the picture and sort of how we felt, how that made our opinion about Mary change. And now that, you know, we've come full circle back to Francis and everything was so good, I would hate to see that reputation crumble again just because there's like a new guy.
Is it weird that I don't think Gideon has a child? I don't think he has a child.
You don't think he's capable of having a child? I think he can be good in the back.
I think this is all a way because they know how smart Mary is. I think this is a setup to seduce Mary. I think this is all a setup because they can play off of her emotion, not her emotions of love and stuff, but her emotions for like her empathy for the innocent, and the innocent is a child, and so I think that's what they're doing, and I don't trust him. I don't trust him at all.
I don't trust him too much, but I do think he has a child. I mean, because I think.
The child's coming now to France.
Right, exactly. So a child is going to be produced some way.
Yeah, I mean, you can just grab any baby off the street.
Someone's kid is coming to France. I think he does have a child. Sometimes I like for them to be together, but then after this episode, I'm like,
stranger danger,
yeah, stranger danger.
Well,
Every time I
can't
see it.
Grimy and like not cool.
He's like old.
I mean, Conde at least was like
old.
a cool dude.
I mean, this is it.
Like,
he's a good-looking dude, but like, he just seems a little sleazy and old. And I'm like, Mary, you're a queen,
right?
Like, what are you doing?
Her, you know,
but forget that. He could be the world's greatest dude. He could be me. It doesn't matter. What matters is that she had a real connection with Francis, and to discredit that after just 3 episodes. I know, Mary, you don't think in these terms, but for us, it's only been a few episodes. It's not right. Not right.
Yeah.
And I would hate to think my wife, if I died, would then, as a widow, go after someone named Gideon.
In 3 episodes.
Right.
Sorry,
yeah, no, it's definitely too soon for me. I mean, I would like to see Mary find happiness because I think that, you know, widows should move on. Like, if you have lost someone, like
I was too good of a husband. No,
You can't move on.
No, can't have that.
Your whole thing
that
is
good of
to
a husband.
honor you.
Like, Francis,
build a Phil altar and statue.
But you think Francis wasn't that good of a husband?
Really?
Whoa.
They went. Do you guys
bite
not
your tongue.
remember what they
How
went
dare
through
you,
and the
Keetin.
things he did to her and
We're
like
Team
lied or
World
whatever?
Bros. What are you
I get
talking
that
about?
they had an unconditional love for each other, but like majority of their relationship was a struggle.
At the beginning, yeah.
Clearly.
Let's just but yeah,
Not
she
his
was-
fault.
Okay, I think
I'm
it was
just saying, it's a
50-50
two-way
fault on both
street.
ends. It is a two-way street. I agree with that. But you know, it wasn't always rainbows and daisies with those
True
two
story.
No,
guys.
it wasn't.
It was not. Anything else with Gideon that we need to talk about? Narcisse. Well, at one point, Narcisse does, to go back to kind of the Narcisse storyline before we move on to England, Narcisse does banish Mary.
He
Because
does.
he's like in charge. Thinks she's Mary's like packing up to go. Then Narcisse. What do you think's gonna happen to Narcisse now? Like, he's still allowed to be on the council, but like
He'll find a way.
He always does.
his wife Lola's gone.
He has.
I don't think
nothing.
he's getting her back.
No.
Yeah, it's not
No.
looking good.
He's still gonna find a way. He wants to be regent. He wants that
Yeah.
power. It's Narcisse. He'll find a way
That's
to
what he
black.
does.
Yeah,
That's what he
to
does.
say Catherine did something and bring her back under trial. It's a never-ending cycle with this too.
I mean, I'm not worried about Narcisse. He's gonna go back to his old ways and
Right.
figure something out.
Gonna
He's
skis.
always scheming. He's got the plans.
I felt like, I have to discredit Charles a little bit because I thought it was a little bit too easy for Narcisse to get in his ear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Again,
was a young,
he's a young
boy.
kid.
Yeah, he's a young kid, and I'm excited to see kind of them working with him more because I think he really proved some acting chops this episode. I really loved that scene where he kind of like,
Forced the vote.
he's literally in a room with like some of the best actors on the show, and he held his own. And so I'm like, okay, let's see Charles more. Like this young kid, like he's good. And so I hope they use him more, and I'll be excited to see what really happened in real life with his kind of reign comes into the fake CW fairy tale.
If it's anything like the Spanish Prince,
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
Lord.
Thumbs down.
Let's just rewrite that.
Yes.
History went completely the opposite way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we talk about Lola's trip to England?
Let me ask you guys this first. And, it's kind of a funny question. Who are the eligible bachelors for Mary?
There's not too many, I don't
Nada.
think. Yeah.
Bash.
Yeah, but he's not a prince.
Yeah.
He's
She
a
was
bastard.
saying like she wanted to court the guy from Denmark, I believe. Yeah. I mean, there really isn't
Hans Christian
that.
Andersen?
There really isn't that much.
The next person she does marry when she returns to Scotland, she marries her first cousin Henry
yeah.
Stewart, Lord
Look
of
at that.
Burnley.
Don't they have a kid
arriving
together?
in Leith.
Oh.
4 years later, but this is 4 years after she returns to Scotland. So she's probably not going to get remarried for a while. So they're going to throw in a lot of fun little things in here.
Little flings.
Doesn't she have a kid with him too?
But yeah, but then he gets killed. Oh no, their union was unhappy. In February 1567, his residence was destroyed by an explosion, and he was found murdered in the garden. Then, let's see, who did she marry? Following, Mary was imprisoned.
Because I thought it was her,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Well, because after he died, yeah, things about to get real,
blow
guys.
up. Yep.
But they take their time. I mean, we're gonna,
Right.
before we get to any of this, they'll put some, they'll
There's-
make it
there's
exciting.
many unresolved issues
Yes.
in the here and now.
Yes, absolutely. So trip to England. Let's talk about England.
Lola.
To England.
Lola
Well,
goes to
yeah.
England, and Queen Elizabeth is a bitch. Like, whoa.
Well, it's not because she's on her period, so
Well, she's got the hormones
still
raging.
pregnant.
She's pregnant.
Yeah.
She's
First
like pregnancy
trimester.
mind.
Yeah.
She's like angry. She's just
Yeah.
angry. She's like her baby daddy is like gonna be thrown into jail because everybody thinks he killed his crazy wife, even though she killed herself. It's just like this poor. I feel sorry for Elizabeth because a lot of this actually are they think things like this really did happen, and there's if you look at Elizabeth the first history, it's very, very interesting what she went through as a woman to secure her spot. But yeah, that sucks.
let me ask you this, because she makes that kind of proclamation of if this is what the world wants of me, this is what I will be, and it's almost like a villainous but I feel like I've been in those types of moments. I can empathize with it, and so what? In some ways, it's weird because it kind of makes you a better person, but at the same time, depending on the choices of your actions, it could either be good or it could just be totally evil.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think?
Yeah, that's. I mean,
Letting that marinate.
I know, drop the mic, Phil.
Yeah.
Drop the mic, Phil.
I don't know, man. It's tough to see everything's spreading out so far. It's hard to see them kind of pull it back in a meaningful way without it being too global. But I'm curious to see how things go with Elizabeth. I think she has been a great addition to this series. It's added a much bigger scope of how these problems are. It's not just a French court drama. Mm-hmm. It's the world that's going on. So I would love more countries to get involved and sort of see the other problems that England's facing, because I think that she's getting it from a lot more angles than just France and Scotland, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Who do we think poisoned her?
Yeah,
that
I was
somebody
I think it's her little right hand man. I think he kind of had a feeling, and he's like, let me snip this in the bud.
Yeah,
and I think that was him, because it was I was like, who is
it? But then I was like, ooh, is it the baby daddy?
No,
Possibly.
I don't think it was him. I think if anything, it was her little right hand man, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Dudley at this point in time is too much. He's too much of a wimp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is kind of a pansy. I'm trying to look up the name of the actress who plays Elizabeth. Why
don't you look it up?
I'm trying to look it up, but there's so many cast members.
I know, but just now type the name. There you go. Apple F for those of you at home.
There you go.
That's the quick little trip. There you go.
Yes.
Rachel
Scarston. Girl, you pretty, like,
Yeah.
gorgeous, like, and like I had like my roommate kept coming in the room. She's like, who is this actress? She's supposed to be like sobbing on the bed and like sick and poisoned. And she just looks so beautiful.
Perfect,
I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know. Girl's got great bone structure.
She's in 50 Shades of Grey as well.
Really?
Oh. Who is she in 50 Shades of Grey? I love that if you follow her Adelaide Kane on who plays Queen Mary on Instagram, they seem like they're really close buddies. So they always like post like fun pictures together, or, like, you know, just like silly things about like two queens against each other. And it's so sad because like they're never in scenes together.
Yeah.
So it's like they must just hang out a lot outside of the show,
Just doing queen stuff.
doing like queenly things. Yeah. Do you know what though? Oh my gosh! Because somebody just posted this. Someone posted something about when Mary leaves to go to Scotland, maybe she'll like lie and say that Bash is her first cousin, Lord whatever, and then she'll marry him. And I follow both Torrance Combs and Adelaide on Instagram, and they had a picture together, and it said dancing lessons, and they were like doing like practicing for an episode. So I don't know, maybe they're gonna bring that love story back in it.
Whoa. Well, it is a historical documentary.
It is a documentary. I mean, it's historically accurate if they do bring Bash back in. So, Mary had more claim to the English throne than Elizabeth, who was a bastard. Ooh.
Right.
Well,
We
talk
talk
about it all the
that.
time.
That was a
Yeah.
major theme.
Yep.
Do you guys, Keetin and JB, since we haven't had your opinion, do you guys like Robert Dudley?
He's hot.
Okay.
I'll
That's
give
an
him
opinion,
that.
yeah.
But it's just like, why did you marry somebody in the first place when you... I mean, okay, yes, he married somebody in the first place because he wasn't in a station to marry the queen. But it's like, I don't know. I felt like they didn't think things through. They were in love. I think, yeah, he's a pansy, and I think he needs to grow a set if you're gonna be like want to be with the queen.
Just like Charles. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's
That took a while, but yes.
he was just kind of being used, honestly. Like, it was hard to have respect for him because he was just kind of like, you know, a mistress, but like a man.
Do you think it
was
would have been
unnecessary.
anyone else that would have like accepted this role for the queen? It would have been anybody else. Because, you know, I feel like she could have thrown a stone, and as long as like somebody loved her and was fully behind her, then that's who she would have ended up with. Like, I don't think, like, Robert, what I mean to say is Robert Dudley, to me, is not special in any sort of way, and I think
Right.
Elizabeth ultimately feels that way. He just happened to be the guy at that
Right
time.
there, he was there.
Yeah, it was convenient.
Yeah. Just, you.
No, they
here.
grew
Here's
up
the plan B.
together.
Yeah,
It was like a Mary Frances scenario. They grew up
Right.
together. They were childhood sweethearts. And like they were in love growing up, but one was a queen and one wasn't. It wasn't like it was a queen and a king who were like destined to be married, fall in love. No, like they were in two completely different stations, and so it's just kind of
here's
like,
the-
oh, it sucks that
Right.
we fell in love.
Based off of that, I don't think Robert Dudley is showing that he knows Elizabeth as much as you're saying that history exists.
Right. And I think beyond like the arranged marriage, Mary and Frances like are a great match. Like they're both so smart and they complement each other. Like when they talk to each other, a lot. So I don't feel that with Elizabeth and Dudley.
But do you
He's
feel
kind
like-
of a dud?
Do you feel like we don't feel that
But,
way because we haven't seen as much of them on screen together? Because that could be possibly it. Because we saw
Could
a lot
be.
of Frances and Mary and like backstory to get that, but
No,
not
he's still
No,
doing
it could be.
shit.
I don't know. I just never really got anything.
You never
of
got
him.
it?
It was just like she's like, don't leave. You have to stay here. And he's like, oh, sorry, wife, we gotta stay here.
I mean,
Like he was just, he didn't
Kind of a
have
puppet.
anything of his own. He was just there and would just kind of ping pong between the other characters.
Yeah, and he's never really helped her in any way that Frances helped Mary. They argued quite a bit, so I don't see the chemistry between them.
This is kind of interesting, you guys. Rosario Vampire 1991 said that Elizabeth and Mary never met face to face in real life.
Really?
Right.
They Skyped a lot, though.
They did
They
Skype
did.
a lot. Technology then it was really
They were
convenient.
texting and
Yep,
Skyping.
a lot. She's like, I'm gonna send my girlfriend Lola over there to hang with you, girl. I know you're going through a tough time right now with all that pig's blood, but yeah, here she is. And we're gonna talk about babies. Did Lola bring her kid with her?
Yes, that was part of the deal.
yeah.
Okay, well, okay.
was
Well,
part of the
that
deal.
was just
Yeah.
dumb. Now you
Right.
have literally King Francis's only heir. Like it's like what?
Okay, but what was she supposed? She was just gonna leave the kid in France? Come on, no, that's
Probably
not.
be safer though.
Yeah, it would be
what
safer.
if Elizabeth was like off their heads,
Oh,
everyone, you know?
I'm betting it's a precocious baby, and he's gonna get like some fighting skills and take over Europe.
Leith could have taught him if he would have just stayed in France.
Well, hopefully Bash comes in the picture and
Yeah.
teaches them some things.
Yeah, Bash
'Cause
will
they
ship out to
have
England.
the bastard child thing.
I think Bash should ship out to England. I mean, he's not doing much these days.
Correction: Elizabeth did meet Mary.
Ooh,
Ooh, called out.
fact checking
Oh, thank you.
happening.
Wait, Lola's baby is with a family member close by the border.
Yeah.
So not technically,
So
but
not there.
But in
Don't get
the
me sick.
vicinity.
I covered. I use protection.
Obviously, Greer didn't.
Yeah.
But the baby's safe. I mean, I think it's the right thing to do to have the kid as close as possible to Lola.
Yeah, without having him in harm's way. Cool. Is there anything else going on in this episode, guys?
I think we covered it all.
Yeah.
And we will definitely get into predictions for the spring return. But our favorite Castle Corner, and we have the
yes.
one and only Keetin ready to talk about it, and we picked a good one today from Hungary.
Well,
So Phil's
No, you're reading it.
Oh no, because you know how to say this the right way because you speak this language, and I don't.
No, I don't speak the language. I can just read it, and then it just say it the way it is written.
Okay. The castle. Oh well, what castle is this, Phil? Can you introduce the castle? Oh,
Siklos Castle.
Siklos Castle from Hungary. It's a beautiful castle. The castle was built by Baron Janos Gregory Benyo in the 13th century in the town of Siklos in the southern part of Hungary near Pécs. It was first mentioned in a charter from 1294. The oldest building is in the southern part of the residential wing. In 1401, disgruntled nobles led by Count Gregory II Benyovsky temporarily imprisoned King Sigismund in the castle. The castle
King
also
Sigismund, no.
The castle also houses a chapel built in the 14th and 15th centuries. The castle was built and owned by Benyovsky de Siklosvar branch of the family until it was nationalized in 1948. In the World War II, the castle was heavily damaged, and between the end of the war and the death of Count Rudolf II Benyovsky de Siklosva in 1955. It was taken over by the state. In 1955, archaeological research and restoration was started, and the castle began to operate as a museum and hotel, which it still does today.
Nice. We can
You guys,
say
that was a cold
Yes.
read. That's all I'm going to say. I have not read that ever before.
I mean, what I like, so there's kind of the entrance, right? I mean,
It looks like a classic castle, but then there's like
Yeah.
a palace inside.
yeah, you missed. We had some great castles while you were
Yes.
away. We had some, ones that you wouldn't necessarily think of as a castle, but this is a typical castle. It's it's got kind of
the
around.
fort around,
Yeah.
fortified.
So I like this one.
Does
And
it have
I-
a moat? Or
there's
did
no
it?
moat.
It
no
looks like a
moat.
moat. No, it looks like it had
Yeah,
a moat at
exactly.
one point. It had a moat. Because look, there's like a little...
No, there's a couple of aerial pictures, Mark, if you want to kind of just scrub through real fast. But, no moat. No, see, there you
Yeah.
go.
Oh,
There's an
no
aerial
moat, just
view
like
of it.
really tall walls.
Yeah, and the town's right there, which is nice. Sometimes, the town can be a little bit further separated. It's a
Castle
country.
for the people.
Yeah, it's a castle. We haven't gone
King
to
of the
Hungary
Castle.
before.
Did I say those names right?
For the most part.
Can you how do you say them, Phil?
We're gonna leave it to mystery. So.
Gosh. Man.
Yeah, we're gonna let you get the hate tweets. Like, hey,
You pronounce this wrong.
My uncle is the Duke.
King.
Anyway, so yeah, that's Castle Corner, and hopefully I will get my book right, Keetin, eventually with the castle,
get
so
your
I don't
book.
have to guess on my
He'll
own.
get your book. Oh, well, Catherine.
Tell it to the people. Look at the people in the eye. For those of
He'll
them
get
watching.
his book when I decide.
First
to
off, it's
give
our
him his
book. It's our book. It's a community book given to us by the
is,
fans because of what we do. It's the love that they have for us because we love them, and you it seems, are not showing the love to them as much as we would like you and expect everyone else to show to the fans.
Okay, well, predictions, guys.
It's all love here.
Your
So much love.
TV predictions.
By the way, for anyone upset, I believe I said this before. There's been plenty of times when Keetin, and in fact, JB have held it down in season 2 when I wasn't here.
Ever.
And so you guys hated me in the moment, and you were like, oh, thank God for JB and Keetin. Now you guys are like, oh, where's Keetin? She's never on the show. It rotates.
Nobody
It's
asked
a
about
cycle.
JB. Just me.
It's all right, guys.
But he's back. All right, predictions. They didn't. You never get to see
Yeah,
that
I don't
thing.
see. I like to go in fresh.
And
Nice.
Yeah.
how do you watch? You watch Hulu or how do you watch?
Yeah, I watch on Hulu, exactly.
So you don't get the preview either.
I do not.
And do you get the preview?
Oh yeah, I DVR the crap out of that show.
But there's
I
not.
cord cut, so I do not get the luxury of the.
But there
DVR
wasn't
anymore.
that much to kind of show, except for the part where Mary's going to Scotland. But again, it could be a tease. Is she actually going to Scotland?
Yeah, how long was the super tease for?
The tease was about 20 seconds, but it showed the rest of the season, so it wasn't like,
Okay.
oh, here's what's coming up on next episode specifically.
Right. Did any new locales get shown?
And no new
new
dudes, no new peeps.
Well, I guess it wouldn't really make sense to show any new characters because you'd be like, who's that guy?
Who's that, right?
Yeah.
Like, should we care about him? I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Yeah.
But they show Mary going to Scotland.
They show
Ish, you
Mary
think.
making a decision. I have to go to Scotland.
Okay.
I really like this prediction that Leith is going to rule everything. He's going to find a way to become king. He is seriously going Machiavelli. That would be interesting to see him because it's his whole story has been like, I'm going to raise my station. I'm going to keep, and then he had that come to Jesus moment with Greer of like being like, you need to hope more, and he's like, you never were the hope person, and she's like, well, now I am.
Right.
So and then he promises Greer, he held true to his promise to Greer originally, and now he made a new promise to Claude saying, I'm going to get myself to a point where I can marry a princess. So I think I could see that happening. That'd be a very
He's
interesting.
got his
how
work
he
cut
does
out
it,
for him.
yeah.
He
I
will
does,
say
but
that.
dude,
On a down note,
Oh,
does he
God.
kill the guy who slapped Claude and then rise up? Does he get in trouble
Ooh,
for
Does
this?
he go too far with it?
Yeah.
Because guy protecting his girl.
I wonder how he's going to do it.
Ooh, interesting.
I mean, that could be a possibility.
I don't see Luke killing anyone, though.
I don't know.
So,
Yeah, I hope that he's smarter than
Yeah.
that. I think there's
Yeah.
other ways, especially if Mary's, having an exodus soon. Then there might be opportunities in Scotland. He's not really tied to anything in France other than Claude now.
He's got to make good because he was pretty close with Francis, so he's and he kind of knows Bash a little bit. He's
Right.
got to get back in that circle
Right.
with those guys.
The
Just
power players, yeah.
Right.
He's a real
Bash
bro.
is, I'm kind of upset by Bash's storyline. Like,
Yeah.
it's so boring, and anytime they try to bring the supernatural into it, I'm like, meh, this is not going well. Just keep it about the power struggles, guys.
Right.
So that's not a prediction.
Yeah,
That's just an opinion.
I just don't think his skill set has been utilized in recent
Right.
episodes. But hopefully that changes. Hopefully,
comes back, yeah.
We need some mash.
Leith and Bash set up like a
Team Royal Bros,
Team
too.
Royal Bros business, and
Yeah.
they make a fortune.
Hey, they're
And they start their own.
it's
country.
a bar from right along too. That they could be the brothers-in-law.
They could.
Oh.
They could be
Yeah.
the brothers-in-law.
Yeah.
Or brothers-in-law. I like that.
I mean, here's the go back to when Catherine made her fling the whatever title she gave him. So if Leith and Catherine become buddies,
Right.
Oh, you want to be the Grand Duke of the stable house down yonder? Great, that's your title. And now you can marry Claude. But the missing
The
piece is the
master of
money.
Horse and Hound. Do you remember? Wait, were you there the day he was there, or was that just me and Fania?
No, I was there.
Oh my gosh. Torrance is like, he's funny. If you guys go back and watch that episode of when Torrance was in studio, he made some really funny jokes about
Remember, we had a
being
bash
Lola.
off.
Oh yeah, we did have a bash off.
What's
Back-
a bash
Yeah.
Back in the day,
Please.
fans.
Don't you want to know what a bash off is?
Please elaborate.
I was witness. I was part of the bash off. I got to
Of
judge
course.
the bash off.
Nice. There you go.
There
Yeah,
was
what- tell us more. Please.
I was kindly compared to looking like Bash, and so we had a bash off of who could be Bash better.
Okay.
Of course,
Ah.
Torrance
So-
run. It's fine.
Well, he is the guy who plays him,
he-
so
yeah.
I would expect him to
He
win.
was
Well,
Cather's best.
I like that it was close.
Yeah.
That there was at
We
least like
never
a
said it was
judge
close.
involved. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, whatever.
It was close enough to get a bash off.
Yes.
Predictions in the. I want predictions in the chat, and then I want predictions in here because we're getting all sidetracked.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, what do we got?
No, I'm telling them right now. Give me your predictions now.
Yeah.
Well, no, let's. You're telling the
Yeah.
fans.
What do
that
you
now.
guys?
So you
Give it a little bit
predict,
of
then
time.
we'll read theirs.
Give a little
Ooh,
bit of
somebody.
time.
Tiana Cooper wants to know if we think Claude will find out about Catherine paying her husband to hit her.
Not for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
I
gonna
don't think so.
It's
I think hopefully we'll get some Francis flashbacks, or maybe like I know they kind of get mystical,
You
but
miss,
if they
you miss him, Toby? You miss him, Toby?
yeah, a little bit.
Little
He's a
Toby?
royal bro. I'm not gonna let that go. I'm not gonna let it go. He's I think he was such a great ruler in the end. I mean, he really had like the best interest at heart, and hopefully in some way he can either impart that to scenes with his little brother in sort of like maybe a dream vision or something, or with Mary kind of grounding her if she gets a little crazy. There's a lot of stuff that's going on, a lot. The entire situation has shifted. Like, Mary should have been, like, she's now leaving. Or going to.
Mm-hmm.
She has
I could
no
see the ghost of
friends.
Francis like looking at Mary and Gideon and him being like, "Don't do it, Mary."
Yeah,
And it's just,
she's-
I gotta go. I
Away
gotta
from
go.
that Spanish, dude. No good.
Yeah.
I
Alina?
won.
Oh goodness. I think we're gonna see Lola being more of a spy for.
Ooh,
She's
Okay,
good.
good.
She's
Yeah,
sneaky. Lola,
she is like because she's very like kind of trying to act like she's a friend to Elizabeth. Like, oh, it's so nice of you, you know.
Yeah.
But I think she's gonna get more info.
She's gonna
for her
pull
queen.
a Narcisse
Yeah. maybe.
She could.
Maybe. Yeah, she could.
Ooh, I have a good one.
She's very smart. So
She
I think
is.
she would do it in a
and she's
meaningful way.
like go hard Scotland. So yeah.
So I truly think that Gideon is playing Mary hardcore. I think that the daughter's fake, whatever. But I think in playing her, he is going to start to really respect her and then want to help her rather than hurt her, because he's going to realize how she is a better person and a better person to have in power, more so than Elizabeth. And I think that's going to be his downfall, and I think he's going to get caught, and he's going to probably get killed by Elizabeth. And Mary's going to be like, wow, you got to kill all my men.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like
Well,
that.
there you go. All right. So if you have further fan theories, let us know in the comments section, whether on iTunes, whether on the website, whether on YouTube. It doesn't matter. We read them just the same. And thank you guys for joining us. Honestly, without you guys, there is no us. And as much fun as we have it because of you guys. In the meantime, we've got a couple of weeks, maybe a month or so, whatever the timing is, off. Keetin, how can people kind of keep in touch?
Oh, you guys, please keep in touch with me via Twitter, Instagram, on Facebook. You can follow me at Keetin Marchi across the board because nobody else has my name. So it's easy.
And JB.
Nice. You guys can find me at Hey John Blake on all social media.
There you go.
Or
And Alina?
on the street
Is that
sometimes.
what JB stands for?
Yes, it is. Thank you for never asking until now. Jesus. But yes, mystery solved.
Everyone can follow me at Alina Vision. That's ALINAVISSION on all the, what did you call it earlier? Social meds. Social meds, yes.
Needs, yeah.
There you go. And follow us here at AfterBuzz TV, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. Thank you guys for joining us. We will be back, hopefully the same panel, but just like last time, I don't put my hopes up, and I make no promises. So until then,
We'll be back. We'll be back.
there you go. You heard it from John Blake himself. Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.